Right, so in part one, I talked about how a lot of the teams that I work with have the same problem hiding in plain sight. Today, I want to show you how I approach it when I first walk into the door. I'm keeping the client details fictional and the specifics very light because the real work happens in the room and every team looks different. But the shape of the problem, that's almost always the same. Let's build it out.
First thing, blank canvas, no pre-filled content. The reason I don't start from a template is that a template puts assumptions on the page before anyone said a word. What I do use is a consistent structure with swim lanes, one per team, because in my experience, the pain is rarely inside a team. It's in the gaps between them, the handoffs where things can go quiet and nobody notices until a customer is already frustrated or a deadline has already slipped. So the structure stays the same. What goes inside it is always different. Next, I start asking questions. How does work arrive in this team? Who touches it first? What needs to happen before it can move to the next step? And I just draw what they tell me honestly as they describe it. And somewhere in here, usually pretty quickly, something shows up that makes the room go a bit quiet. A step where the honest answer is, well, so-and-so just handles that. Meaning one person in their head with no documentation, or a handoff where I draw an arrow and ask, who owns this moment? And people look at each other. I'm not going to show you the full detail of how I work through that. That's what the engagement is for. But the point is that drawing it out is itself the most valuable part of the first session. People see their own process for the first time, and that picture does more work than anything I could possibly say. Now, at this point, I stop and ask the team, does this look how you thought it worked? The answer is almost always no, not because people are doing anything wrong, but because nobody had drawn it before. You cannot improve something you haven't mapped. Take this diagram, for example. You can see here that when a support ticket is raised, there is no clear ownership, just whoever happens to be free. And the escalation path has no defined response time at all. Nobody sat down and decided that was how it would work. It just ended up that way because everyone was busy building the product. So every audit finds something different. The swim lanes are the same. The questions are similar, but the diagram is always unique. What I haven't shown you here is how I prioritize what I find, how I present it back to leadership, or how I work out what to fix first versus what to leave alone for now. That's where the real judgment call sits. And honestly, that's the part you'd be paying for. But you can see in this version some of what that looks like. API key issuance now sits with the delivery team and it's flagged for automation. So keys are issued securely as part of the process itself rather than a developer stopping what they're doing to handle it manually. That frees the dev team up to stay focused on product work. And over here in support, L1 ownership is now clearly defined with a first response SLA attached to it. 2 changes, both straightforward, both with an immediate impact on how the team experiences their own workday. What I will share in part 3 is the set of questions I've refined over the years of doing this, the ones that consistently surface the problems worth solving. Not a template. Again, every business draws a different picture, but the questions, those travel. Now stay tuned for part 3. Thank you.